Many of you have heard, if you don't know your rights, you don't have any. Well, what does all that mean? Well, let's unpack it. Hey everyone, it's Jason Ian with Americans in Action, americansinaction.info, and our sister website, spiritawarenessfoundation.com. Well, in order to even begin this conversation, we have to, as always, first define our terms. Well, here's a generic definition. Right, it's an adjective. It means righteous, upright, being in accordance with what is just, good, or proper, conforming to facts or truth, suitable, appropriate, straight, like a straight line, genuine, and real. That's the most important thing. Here's a more in-depth definition of rights. Good old Wikipedia coming in to share their 2 cents. Rights are legal, social, or ethical principles of freedom or entitlement. That is, rights are the fundamental normative rules about what is allowed of people or owned to people. Notice the language, people, not persons. According to some legal system, social convention, or ethical theory, rights are of essential importance to such disciplines as law and ethics, especially theories of justice and deontology. So now you got a basic definition of the word's rights, but now let's focus on very specific rights. How about your unalienable rights? Here's a very basic definition of the word unalienable. Again, an adjective. Impossible to take away or give up. Just expounding upon this a little bit more, a term used to describe rights or issues that cannot be sold, given away, or taken away by an outside force. So why the focus on unalienable rights specifically? Well, for this conversation, it has everything to do with your freedom, your sovereignty, and who you are as a living, breathing man or woman, soul, made in the image of the Most High Creator. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed, very interesting word, we'll take a look at that in a bit, by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. Declaration of Independence, 1776. So now we can see the importance of the unalienable rights, but let's unpack that Declaration of Independence, specifically the word endowed. Here is the definition of the word endow: to provide with property, income or source of income, or to supply with a talent or quality. And then it goes on with some other definitions. Another quick definition, legal definition of the word endowment, which is an extension of the word endow, is money or property given. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. Well, if the word endow means to give property, then that would mean your unalienable rights are your property. And if we come back to the definition of the word unalienable, impossible to take away or give up, which means your rights, which were endowed, given to you by your Creator, can never be taken away. So we reviewed what those rights are. Those rights are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, which can never be taken away from you. Your right to life can never be taken away from you. Which means if legislation attempted to pass a law that would attempt to take away your unalienable rights, that law would be null and void. And the only way for that law to gain any traction or actually be implemented in the physical world would be by we the people's voluntary consent to allow that law to take place. Our founding forefathers, with our founding documents, attempted even further to ensure that our rights be secured by our documents. One of those documents is the Bill of Rights, which are amendments to the Constitution. We're not going to go through all of the amendments, but let's just go through the First Amendment here. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion, or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or the press, or the right, there's that word again, of the people, not the persons, peacefully to assemble. That's also where, if those of you have been doing this game for a while, the assemblies are created to form a republic, and to petition the government, who are protectees of our rights, for a redress of grievances. Now here's just a quick side note. This is all trust language. We're talking about property being given by a creator, which is trust language. A trust has a creator or a grantor who gives property. Then there is people who protect said property, which would be our trustees, aka the government. Then there's a thing called a trust indenture, aka the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, which gives the trustees instructions of how to protect said property. And then there's a beneficiary. And who's those beneficiaries? Well, we the people. And in the trust language, the grantor and the beneficiary can be the same. A little bit deeper here, if the property was given by the creator of the Most High, then the Constitution, in actual fact, is a drop-down trust, which is another trust language, of a God trust, with the Most High being the grantor. Ninth Amendment. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage others retained by the people. So what that's saying is, even though there were certain rights listed in the Declaration of Independence, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness, that doesn't mean that was all the rights that we the people have innately within us, which are our property granted to us by our Creator. And the Ninth Amendment, which is part of that trust indenture, is specifying that those other rights that are not mentioned are still protected by the Constitution. Here's some legal language that expounds upon that. The Ninth Amendment provides that the enumeration of certain rights in the Constitution should not be construed to mean that the Constitution does not protect rights that are not enumerated. Meaning, if it's not there, that doesn't mean that you're still not protected. The amendment was included in the Bill of Rights to address fears that expressly protecting certain rights might be misinterpreted implicitly to sanction the infringement of others. Meaning, if we didn't enumerate them, then we wouldn't have protection. But remember, your unalienable rights, by definition, mean they can never be taken away from you. You are a spiritual being with certain unalienable rights granted to you by your Creator, and you must learn how to stand upon them. If you want to dive deeper into learning this, check us out at americansinaction.info. Check us out on our workshop coming up this month and our free Q&A this weekend, and learn how to stand free and stay strong. I'm Jason Ian, americansinaction.info, spiritawarenessfoundation.com. Much love.